Hello everybody, very good evening and welcome to studyIQ IAS English. I hope that everybody is doing absolutely great and today we are going to discuss about the Turk invasions. Okay, so basically this Turks invasion or the Turkish attacks on the Indian subcontinent, they are a very crucial part of our historical developments, and more rightly if we say that many historians they name it as the Islamic invasions, but we will see and try to find out in this particular lecture that are these really Islamic invasions only, or are these invasions basically the political invasions by the Turk community from Central Asia or from the close quarters of South Asia, particularly in the northwestern frontiers. So we will try to understand these different points in our lecture today. So welcome once again everybody in this lecture, that is lecture number 4 today. We have already covered 3 lectures from the medieval history, and that is basically we are following the book called Satish Chandra. It's a very popular book. In fact, many of the aspirants they follow only this particular book for the medieval history purpose, and since UPSC has increased the stake of these questions in the last 3 to 4 year trends. So that's why it has become very essential to understand and to implement these understandings in the examination. So let us start without any further delay. A very good evening, Amit. Very good evening to all of you. And guys, make it sure that you share this class and this session with your friends also, so that they can also understand and join the session impromptu. Now, if we talk about one more important announcement that you have to take attention of, that is basically the P2I batches and especially the Super Learning Days sale that is being provided by studyIQ for all the aspirants, all the viewers. So guys, if anybody wants to join the P2I batches, this is the best time. The fees has gone down further to rupees 26,999 if you are using my code ASR live. Okay, so make it sure that you do not forget to use this code ASR live here, and you will be able to join our batches in any of your preferred medium of communication and education. The features etc. they are available on the application, but we will also talk about those features subsequently in our lecture. But let's get started and let's learn the topic today. So the topic is the Turks invasion. The Turks invasion. Till now, we have understood that what was the condition in the beginning of medieval age in India. We have understood till now that how did the disintegration of the political unity take place. After that, we saw the emergence of Rajputs. All right, and today we will understand that the equivalent of the Rajputs, similarly that the Rajputs were in Southern Asia, in the Central Asia they are used to be the Turks. So we will see the Turkish invasions. So guys, when we talk about Turkish invasions, mostly 2 names come in our mind. Good evening, Bulbul. 2 names that strike our mind very deeply. Those 2 names are, number 1, Mahmud of Ghazni. Okay, Mahmud of Ghazni. And number 2, Muhammad Ghori. These 2 names, they strike our mind inherently as we think about the Turkish invasion. But the question is there, very important question is there, that what was the exact situation? What were the conditions which led to this type of invasion to take place? Why did they attack on India? Why not they attacked on Persia? Why did they not attack on the Russia, or why did they not attack on any other country? Why only India? What is the reason behind it? And for understanding the reason, we must understand the geography of this particular area. Okay, everybody? So when we talk about the geographical factors, or the geopolitical settings in that particular era, you can have a look here. Basically, this is the area where Hindu Kush mountain is located, and you can understand that this particular area was ruled by the Shahi dynasty. This Shahi dynasty, it was basically called as a Hindu Shahi dynasty. Hindu Shahi dynasty. Some historians claim that they were Turks. Other historians claim that they were the Indic Aryan people, community of Aryans basically belonging to the Brahman community. But that is a subject of debate for sure. However, what is not debatable? That they shared a boundary with the Ghaznavid Empire. Have a look on this one. They shared a boundary with the Ghaznavid Empire, and this is why the first instance of the dispute or the first instance of struggle with the Hindu dynasties, and the struggle was led by the Ghaznavid Empire, the Islamic kingdom. So the first instance in the medieval part or the 12th century, or you can say not 12th century, but in the feudal age, that we get from Ghaznavid and Hindu Shahi struggle. However, was this the first instance of, you can say, Islamic invasion in India? It is absolutely not, because the first instance of the Islamic invasion that came all the way from Arab, following the route of the coastal route of Arabic Ocean, and attacked on the Sindh area in 712 AD. Okay, in the 712 AD, basically, that was the year of invasion where Muhammad bin Qasim had invaded. Okay, everyone. So that is the basic information we all are aware about. But now let us learn something about the Ghaznavid rulers also. Why did they attack? Who were the Ghaznavids? What was their reason to invade on India? And why only Mahmud? Why not any other ruler who was the predecessor of Mahmud, or who might be successors of Mahmud? Even though successors attacked or they followed the steps of Mahmud, but they did not get as much success as Mahmud had got in Indian invasions. So let's find out all the answers of our questions. So here, first of all, let me tell you that when we talk about the rise of Ghaznavids, guys, remember that Ghaznavids are also known as Yamini. Okay, the Yamini dynasty. Yaminids. Okay, everybody. So they were basically the Yaminids, who were the feudatories, of the local ruler of Jabul Shahi, whose name was Abu Bakr Lawiq. Remember the name? Kabul Shahi is ruled by the, right, basically when we talk about the northwestern, right, parts of India, right, we should get the understanding that this entire area, this was basically the Hindu Kush Valley region, where the different kingdoms used to exist, and these kingdoms were called as Kabul Shahi. Kabul Shahi was basically the southern part of the Hindu Kush Valley, and the Jabul Shahi was the northern part of the Hindu Kush Valley. Okay, everyone. So Kabul and Jabul. Okay, Kabulistan and Jabulistan. These are the two regions on both the sides of the Hindu Kush. We have on our side Kabulistan, and on the other side of Hindu Kush there is Jabulistan. So basically, we all are aware that these all periods, right, of the entire medieval period, the all kingdoms are dependent upon the agrarian sources, and the river valleys, mountain valleys, they provide the sufficient resources for sustainable agriculture. This is why the small kingdoms used to survive in those areas. Now, Jabul Shahi was actually ruled by Abu Bakr Lawiq, and this Jabul Shahi was snatched by his feudatory, whose name was Alaptagin, right? Alaptagin. Now, Alaptagin was actually a very ambitious Turk. Okay. I'm sorry. However, when he got victorious, after him, his son became the successor. However, his son was not as capable as he was. Therefore, his son-in-law, the son-in-law of Alaptagin, whose name was Subuktagin. Okay, everyone? He was the son-in-law whose name was Subuktagin. He took over the throne of Jabul Shahi. You should not be noting these things. You should be getting all these pointers or all these annotations on the PPT. You will be getting on the Telegram channel if you are there, right? So don't worry about it. Now, guys, remember that Subuktagin was much more powerful, much more ambitious than Alaptagin, his father-in-law, and therefore, in his period, this kingdom where the capital was Ghazni city in Afghanistan, that kingdom started to expand. However, we all should understand one thing, that when any kingdom in our neighborhood, it starts expanding, then we feel problem, rather we feel threatened by that expansion. This is why in this particular time period, the Kabul Shahis ruler Hindu Shahi dynasty, they started plotting the conspiracies against the Subuktagin's kingdom. And why so? Because it was absolutely necessary. Had they not plotted the conspiracies to uproot the Subuktagin's kingdom, later or sooner, that Subuktagin must have attacked on the kingdoms of Hindu Shahi, which in fact happened subsequently. Therefore, it's very important to understand that the son of Abu Bakr Laviq, whose name was Abu Ali Laviq, he and Jayapala, the ruler of Hindu Shahi dynasty, they both formed an alliance against Subuktagin and invaded his kingdom at least twice. But both the times, they could not get much success in culminating the growth of Subuktagin's kingdom. Rather, Subuktagin became the enemies with the Hindu Shahi dynasty in the upcoming years. So guys, you all should get an idea basically that it was the Subuktagin in his period, he ruled up to the beginning of 11th century, like probably up to 997, 998 AD approximately. So up to that period he ruled, and during his period also there was no friendly relations between the Hindu Shahi dynasty of southern Hindu Kush Valley and the Alaptagin's families, the Yaminids in the northern Hindu Kush Valley. So overall, this animosity, it started to develop and started to in fact grow further as the empire of Alaptagin family or Alaptagin's dynasty started to grow. But this animosity, it reached to the peak when Mahmud of Ghazni, he became the ruler. So let me tell you a brief story that when Mahmud was actually becoming the ruler, he was not the first choice. His younger brother was declared as the successor by his father Subuktagin. However, he saw an opportunity and wrestled the throne from his younger brother and became the Sultan of Ghazni. He was awarded the title of Sultan as the first sovereign and independent ruler in the Islamic world. Now, the question arises that, okay, we understood that Subuktagin and his son Mahmud, they were both the enemies of Hindu Shahis. But why would they attack on Gangetic Plains? Why would they attack on Somnath Temple? Why would they attack on Thanesar, Mathura, Kannauj, in these areas? What is the reason? So guys, the reason is basically a combination of several small factors. Okay, several small factors. So first of all, we should understand the character of Mahmud. Only then we will be able to understand the basic reasons behind his attacks and invasions on Indian soil. So guys, the Mahmud about whom we are talking here, he was recognized as a sultan when Khalifa al-Qadir Billah, he in 999 AD accepted him as the ruler of these places. Which places? The ruler of Herat, Balkh, Bast, all these areas in the areas of northern Afghanistan, the northeastern Iran, all that area, adjoining area. Okay, everyone. So he got the title of Sultan. And now let me tell you one more thing, that we often hear that the converts, right, all these Turks or the Central Asians, they were the Islamic converts. They were converted into Islam by the Arabic invaders. They were not the original followers of Islam, of course. But we all must understand one thing, that whenever there is a new convertee, okay, a new convertee who is just converted into a new religion, he will be showing the more enthusiasm, more fundamentalism, more orthodoxy, right, as compared to the old follower. It is like exactly the same thing that the new UPSC aspirants, they have got more vigor, more courage and more determination power as compared to the old aspirants. Very simple. So this is why when the Turks became the Islamic followers, they had the stronger urge to express the commitment towards Islam by expanding it to the new areas, especially the Indian subcontinent, where the Arabs had also failed to expand the Islamic rule beyond the Sindh region. Okay, everybody. So this is why what happened, that Mahmud had taken an oath to invade India each and every year. Now he might not have taken the oath to invade India as such, but he must have taken the oath to invade the Indus and beyond Indus, basically Hind region, Al-Hind, which was the name given to the land beyond Indus by the Arabs. Okay. So guys, in this particular map, you can understand the subsequent invasions of not only Mahmud, but also his successors and also some of his predecessors. So for example, Ghaznavids, they ruled from 977 to 1186 AD. Okay. So Ghaznavids ruled from 977 to 1186 AD. Okay, everybody. And during this period, first of all, the most common invasions were related to Mahmud of Ghazni, and after that Masood, Ibrahim, all these were also invading on India. So all these pink arrows which are visible, you can understand that all these pink arrows indicate the invasions of Mahmud. So have a look on this particular point. This is Ghazna. So Mahmud had invaded. You can see here, in the initial phases, he started his invasion to the areas of Vaihind, right? Beginning with the Kabul Shahi, Hindu Shahis, moving on to the Vaihind area along the banks of Indus River, and moving further on, he reached to the Multan in the 1006-1010 AD during that period. After that, he proceeded further and invaded Kashmir region around 1015 AD, and between 1010 to 1026, he expanded his approach and kingdom as far as up to the places in the Ganga Valley, basically Kannauj as well as Kalinjar, etc., etc. All right, everyone. So try to understand one thing. Try to understand one thing, that if he was taking on one after the other expeditions, there must be some solid reason that why is he wasting so much of his time, so much of his efforts into invading such a distant area, such a distant place where he is not even willing to administer, not even willing to conquer that area. Then what was the reason? Why was he invading India almost every year I would say, beginning with 1001 AD and ending up to 1027 AD? Why did he invade almost every year? What is the reason? Now, when we try to analyze the reasons behind the invasion of Turks, particularly Mahmud, many historians, they have multiple claims, different type of claims. See, it is very important to understand that in those periods, as I told you, either in India or in the other parts of the world, feudal system was more commonly implemented, and feudal system that resulted into the accumulation of the wealth, right? Distribution of the wealth was suffering badly, and the wealth was getting accumulated in a very few hands. In case of India, the wealth accumulation was primarily in the temples in the form of the gold and silver statues. For example, let me just give you two examples. Number one, Mathura, and number two, Somnath. When we talk about Mathura temple, it is said that, and I am not saying that, it is said in the memoirs of Mahmud of Ghazni himself. Okay, remember that Mahmud of Ghazni, he had several scholars and the chroniclers also who used to write his achievements and his expeditions. Particularly, for example, Firdausi was there who wrote Shahnama. Who was the author? Firdausi was there, right? Remember the name? Firdausi, he wrote Shahnama. Similarly, there was Al-Masudi, right, who wrote Tahqiq-e-Hind, right? Tahqiq-e-Hind, which is also having a book called Kitab-ul-Hind. Okay, Kitab-ul-Hind. And his more comprehensive work is called as Tarikh-e-Hind or Tawarikh, right? Tawarikh-e-Hind. Okay, everyone. So all these names are suggesting that he was quite fond of getting the records of his activities, his works and his achievements, etc. So just two examples. Number one, Mathura temple. It is said that this particular temple had huge images of Krishna and Lakshmi, or basically it should be Radha or Rukmini. However, historians consider it as the incarnation of Lakshmi only, so that's why they write it Lakshmi. So basically, Vishnu and Lakshmi, or Krishna and Radha, basically their images were there, which were constructed of the pure gold, and they were decorated with the beautiful gemstones, including the diamonds and the pearls, etc. Not only that, it is discussed in the memoir of Mahmud of Ghazni that there are so many temples with immense, unimaginative opulence that even if 1,000 people, they create the cloth sheets for more than 200 years, it will be difficult to gather or to collect all the wealth looted from all the temples and their destruction. Okay, so that's why he was very much remorseful. He was very much guilty, thinking that he could not take the temple's wealth completely to his hometown. He was quite remorseful for that. So it tells us about the immense wealth which was held by the temples in Mathura, even though he had raised maximum number of the temples. When we talk about the second example, my dear, we hear about Somnath, and it is said that the huge chain of gold that was there to hang the shivling in the air, and it was basically hanging with a mass of approximately I would say 200 mounds. 200 mounds, that was the weight of that golden chain. And apart from that, it also had the embedded gemstones in the walls of the temples, as well as among the statues of the other deities, etc. And not only that, 1,000 Brahmins were appointed to worship and to take care of this enormous wealth and at least 350 dancers used to perform the dances regularly in front of the deity so that the rituals could be completed. Okay, so I hope that you are getting an idea that up to which extent was there the accumulation of the wealth among the major temple authorities, in fact, in the major temples also. So we can understand that this enormous wealth must have attracted the rulers, particularly the invasive rulers, especially coming from the northwestern parts of the subcontinent or from the areas beyond it. What is the reason for their coming? Now comes the second reason. So apart from the economic causes, the wealth, etc., the second reason, that was the religious causes. Religious causes means what? See, Mahmud had taken the title of Sultan. He also loved to be called as a Ghazi or loved to be called as a But Shikan. What is a Ghazi or who is a Ghazi? Ghazi is someone who participates in the jihad. And who is a But Shikan? But Shikan is someone who breaks the idol, the breaker of the or the destroyer of the idols. But Shikan. Okay, everybody. So some of the historians like Muhammad Habib or Webel, they declined to accept that Mahmud was a fanatic Muslim or he was a fundamentalist in his approach. They cite the evidences that he was such a greedy of money that he would have attacked even Baghdad and Damascus or even the Turks also if he got an opportunity to loot their wealth. But guys, the contemporary historians who existed in the period of Mahmud of Ghazni, contemporary historians claim that yes, he was a Ghazi, he was a sepoy of the Islam, he was a member of jihad, and not only that, he was a proud But Shikan. That means the one who was proud of destroying the several statues or several sculptures. So this indicates that the religious factors that could not be ignored. Apart from that, we also have the political causes. So when we talk about the political causes, we must understand one thing, that the Hindu Shahis and the Ghaznavids, both of them had the old estimates to be settled. Jayapala, therefore, became the first victim of the invasions of Mahmud when he had to fight a battle but ultimately had to surrender due to the excessive forces of Mahmud of Ghazni. In that guilt, Jayapala, he self-immolated himself. He sat himself on the fire, and after him, his son Anandapala succeeded the throne and continued the struggles with the Ghazni. Now guys, when I am saying that continued the struggles with Ghazni, remember the point that Ghazni, it was the capital, but the kingdom was enormous and therefore it was very difficult for any small Rajput kingdom to continue the struggle against the huge Ghaznavid empire. But when we talk about the struggle against the huge Ghaznavid empire, try to understand that this small dynasty of Hindu Shahi rulers in the southern Hindu Kush or in the Punjab region, they acted as a major barrier in the path of invasions of Mahmud. And why am I saying that? Because after 1009, when Anandapal was also defeated, after this year, there would be a sudden increase in the frequency and the consequential damage after the invasions of Mahmud Ghazni. So guys, this can be said very well that if we consider that the Rajputs were unaware about the Islamic risk that was coming forward in their direction, it is absolutely wrong to say, because we have the evidences that the Hindu Shahis, they had at least attacked twice on the Ghaznavid state with the help of the Rajput alliances. So they had an idea, they had an understanding of the intended threat that was coming on their way. Okay, everybody? So I hope that it's absolutely clear to all of you. Now we do not need to remember those political jargons like in which year which temple was attacked. That's not necessary to understand. Why so? Because the questions are not asked on those lines. But for the sake of understanding, 1025 AD, the attack on Somnath temple, that's probably the most talked about. However, even 1016 Kannauj invasion, even that was also a huge setback for the contemporary dynasties in northern plains. Okay, everybody. There is a question by Amit that jihad means what? Jihad is basically the struggle against the evil. Struggle against the evil. Now, that depends upon your definition, your understanding, your way of interpretation. And how do you define the evil? Okay, everyone. So that's basically jihad. Now, certain people, they believe that the evil is within and we should be doing a jihad against this evil within. The evil in the form of the greed, discrimination, right, and chauvinism, or basically characterlessness, all these things. Okay, all these things. So ultimately, after decline of or after the death of Mahmud in 1029 or 1030 AD particularly, the risk from the invasions of Yemenids that started to reduce significantly, even though the sons of Mahmud, particularly Masood and Ibrahim, they both continued to invade on India several times, but they did not get as much success as his father had got. Okay, everyone? Now we will talk about the invasions of Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori. Now, who is Muhammad Ghori? Guys, Muhammad Ghori was basically a feudatory chief, or basically a member of family of the feudatory chiefs who were ruling over a small area of the Ghor province in Afghanistan under the dominance of the Ghaznavid rulers. Okay, so are you able to imagine the scenario? The similar type of things are happening even in the Central Asia as they were happening in Indian subcontinent. Okay, where the feudatory chiefs, they were replacing their masters, they were replacing their overlords. Okay, everyone. So this is the image of Muhammad Shahabuddin. Muhammad Shahabuddin, also known as Muizuddin Muhammad bin Sam, or simply Muhammad of Ghor. Okay, so if you look at his empire, the core area of his empire was only up to this. Okay, this was the core area of his empire. You can understand it here. This is in Afghanistan, this is in Kazakhstan, this is in Iran, okay, and basically Uzbekistan area. So you can understand very well that Iran, Afghan and Pak. You can understand very well that these all areas currently occupied by or inhabited by the primarily, I would say, Central Asian Muslim communities. Those areas were actually occupied by the invasions of Muhammad Ghori. Okay, everyone. So have a look on the background of his rule or his invasions on India. Now, all these had the very humble beginning. That's the common point. Actually, if you talk about any Central Asian invader in India, you will find that almost every invader had a very humble beginning, very humble story, be it Genghis Khan, be it Taimur, be it Babur, or be it any Turk who came through the Central Asia, from the Central Asia through the Hindu Kush passes, particularly Khyber, Bolan, and even Suleiman region also, Gomal, right, pass as well. So this Muhammad Ghori, if you talk about his family, so there was an Alauddin Hussain of the Ghor, right? Alauddin Hussain of the Ghor province, who had completely devastated the city of Ghazni, completely annihilated the rulers of Ghazni, and he got the nickname of Jahan Soz. Jahasoz means what? Jahasoz means the owner, the master of the entire universe, Jahasoz. Okay. Then Alauddin Hussain of Ghor, he was succeeded by his son whose name was Saifuddin, right? Whose son was Saifuddin. So, how is it going on? It is going on like Alauddin. Then from Alauddin we have Saifuddin. And then we have Ghayasuddin, right? And after that we have Shahabuddin. Okay, Shahabuddin. So these are basically the rulers in whose family Shahabuddin or Muhammad Ghori was a successor. So basically he succeeded his elder brother Ghiyasuddin not as an independent ruler. Remember the point that Muhammad Ghori did not take the title of Sultan. Muhammad Ghori did not take the title of Sultan, and why so? Because his elder brother Ghiyasuddin had the title of Sultan, and that is why, if you will observe that even in India, Muhammad Ghori did not enthrone himself. He did not sit on the throne. Rather, he handed over the responsibility to administer these areas which he had won to his several slaves in India. Okay, everyone? So overall, the family was Turk and they had led the ambitious invasions on India ranging starting from 1178 AD up to 1197 AD to be exact. So overall, 20 years of the expedition attacks or expedition journey, I would say, on the Indian subcontinent resulted into the enormous empire of Muhammad of Ghor. Okay, everyone? So let's find out some of the methods, some of the factors which resulted into his invasion. Guys, factors are always the same in case of Mahmud of Ghazni as well as Muhammad of Ghori. Same factors: political, social or political, religious, economic, and some other factors also. Okay. For example, if you talk about other factors, he himself was a very ambitious ruler. He did not want to constrain himself to this small area of the hilly terrains where the production of the food grains is very minuscule, where the economic earnings are not that much high, where you have to depend upon the collection of the customs duties and the transportation charges, etc., rather than upon the regular supply of the wealth in the form of the cash or the kind due to the revenue collection regularly. That was not possible in their kingdom. So he had this solid reason to attack on the prosperous area, probably the most prosperous area, that was India. Second thing, despite being ambitious, he was very respectful towards his elder brother, and that's why he did not declare himself as independent. He kept on ruling in his elder brother's name. However, guys, remember that his elder brother had himself taken the assignment to invade on the further northwest. For example, if suppose this is the kingdom of Ghor, so the elder brother, whose name was Ghayasuddin, he had decided to take the charge of the northwestern invasions, and he himself had assigned the charge of southeastern invasions. Okay, everyone, to Muhammad Ghori. So that is why what happened, that Ghori had a natural choice of invading the Indian subcontinent. Okay, everyone. Apart from that, if we talk about, so he also had a desire to spread the Islam as well as to have the enormous wealth and the gold that India had. So guys, economic factor, the wealth factor is always a hit factor. A religious factor is always a hit factor. You can directly use these type of things in your examination. However, the other factors were there which were related to the relationship between two brothers, or which were related to the personality based traits. Okay, remember that. So all these points we can say that resulted into the invasions from the sides of Muhammad Ghori on the India. Okay. Now, sorry, there is a basic question. How many times did he attack on India? Or how many times did he attack on the Indian subcontinent? Any answers do you have? Anyone? Do you have any particular answer? See, when we talk about any specific answers, some people, they suggest that he attacked 17 times and every time Prithviraj Chauhan was victorious and all. These are the blatant lies, stories. Now, Prithviraj Chauhan had 2 encounters with Muhammad Ghori. Before him, there were other rulers also who were facing the attacks from his side, Muhammad Ghori's side, but they either won or they could not contain the attacks. Obviously, 2 possibilities are there, either victory or loss. So, if we talk about the invasions, the most significant invasion or the earliest invasion which is recorded there, that was the conquest of the Multan and the Sindh, ranging from 1175 to 1178 AD, where the first invasion, that was actually in the Multan and Sindh area. Okay, Multan and Sindh area. This area was particularly captured by Ghori. In fact, Multan was also captured, as well as the Uch in the upper Sindh, that was captured as well. So, making a base in the Sindh nearby the prosperous kingdom of Gujarat, that was the baby step for the Turkish invader in India. Now he took the next step when he decided to attack the capital of Solanki's Parmars, that is Anhilwada, the Anhilwad. Okay, Anhilwad was basically ruled by Solanki Parmar dynasty rulers, and who was leading? Guess. The battle which took place, that was called as the Battle of Kaidara. Okay, the Battle of Kaidara. Bhimdev was leading, however, only the name of Bhimdev was there as he was a minor. It was a Naiki Devi who was leading the battle, and the result came quite surprising for Muhammad Ghori as he was uprooted, he was defeated badly. Okay, so after that he decided not to continue further in this direction. So he decided to invade Punjab in the subsequent years to come. So his invasions came in Peshawar, okay everyone, then after that in Punjab, and after that the Punjab once again up to Lahore. So the problem was that when he reached Lahore in 1186 AD, in that particular condition, his conflicts with the Chauhan kingdoms, right, that kingdom started to emerge. Now that would become the problem, and after that he will face Chauhan ruler Rai Pithoda or Prithviraj III in 2 subsequent battles, particularly the first battle of Tarain and the second battle of Tarain both. We had briefly discussed in the previous lecture about the first battle of Tarain. Even today also we will try to understand some basic facts, as this battle is not much important for the examination. However, this is one of the many important battles or many defining battles which changed the directions of the Indian history forever, permanently. That is the battle of Tarain in 1191 and 1192. It is, even today, it is a matter of great reverence, right, great remorse and great repentance, that had Prithviraj Chauhan killed Muhammad Ghori in the first battle itself, had he not forgiven him and had he not left him alone in case of being the, weaponless, then and there if he was ended, the story might have taken an altogether a different turn, because Muhammad Ghori's story would have been over by that battle itself. No Qutbuddin Aibak, no Iltutmish, no Razia Sultan, nobody from Sultanate, nothing. Right, nothing. Probably the entire history of India would have been completely different, completely different. So guys, there are certain battles or certain treaties which have enormously altered the course of historical movements. For example, if you remember that in the modern history we would study in the year 1690, the governor of Bombay, British India, Mr. Child, he was begging and crushing his nose against the floor in front of Emperor Aurangzeb. Now that was the defining moment in the modern history, that had he not forgiven the British permanently and allowed them to trade again in India, the entire story of the British rule in India would have been a fallacy. Similarly, this single invasion and forgiving by Chauhan, that was the biggest blunder ever seen in the medieval history. Okay. Now guys, yes, exactly, we can definitely say that, Amit, we can definitely say that if Prithviraj Chauhan did not kill his enemy, he definitely had committed the mistake. Yes, right. So therefore, this mistake was avenged completely by the defeat and the death of Prithviraj Chauhan in the Battle of Tarain, the second one in the year 1192 AD. Okay, everyone. And once Chauhan was defeated, it's exactly like the floodgate is open, and after that, one after the other, Kannauj ruler Jaichand was defeated, and after that, the rulers subsequently in the Bihar area, the local zamindars, etc., they were all annihilated completely, followed by the invasion, the revolt of the Khokars in 1205. That was also very important. And why so? Because in 1205, Ghori again came to India, and this time Khokars, they invaded the Ghori's army, but they were defeated badly. However, when we talk about the other areas of expansion like Gujarat, Bundelkhand, Bengal, Bihar, etc., guys, remember the one point that Ghori himself did not cover these areas. His slaves had covered these areas for him, because in the Sultanate, we had a new tradition where the slaves used to dominate the political positions, political leadership, as well as the military skills and the commanding positions. In fact, let me tell you a very important fact, that when we talk about this small area, of northwestern India, okay. So guys, we all are able to understand that this is the place where Ghazni is located, from where Muhammad Ghori was ruling the capital city. This is the place, right? This is the place where we have the other areas of India located. For example, here it is Delhi, okay, Delhi, and here it is Bengal, and here it is Lahore, okay, Ghazni, Lahore, Delhi, and Bengal. Now, it is very surprising to understand that this place was ruled by Tajuddin Yaldauz, okay, Tajuddin Yaldauz. This place was ruled by even this and Multan. So, Lahore and Multan both were ruled by Malik Nasiruddin Kubacha, okay, Malik Nasiruddin Kubacha. And if we talk about Bengal area, this was ruled by Muhammad bin Bakhtiyar Khilji, okay, Bakhtiyar Khilji. So, it is not a surprising thing at all that Delhi and the areas of alluvial plains of Ganga as well as the Punjab plains, they were allowed to be ruled by another slave whose name was Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, Qutbuddin Aibak. Now guys, understand one thing. It is very, very essential to understand, and why so? Because this shows that there was a very trustworthy tendency of appointing the slaves as the leading commanders as well as the political successors by the Turks who invaded India in the beginning of 13th century, or we can say in the end of the 12th century. Okay, everyone. So I hope that this makes a very clear understanding to all of you that the Ghurids or the dynasty of Muhammad Ghori, they had definitely impacted the Indian subcontinent's culture, ethos and polity, and we will understand the invasions as well as the subsequential dynasties in the next lecture tomorrow. All right, everyone. So here we can see the consequences first of all. So we can say the introduction of the decentralized manner of rule, where a central authority was ruling through the distribution of the localized revenue collection units called as ICTA. Similarly, as I told you that ICTAs, they made it very much possible that even the distant areas located far away from the capital had a nominal connection with the capital in the form of the revenue submission as well as in the form of the maintenance of an army to serve the central authority. That was the invasion's impact. At the same time, the Turks also brought along with them the several new inputs in the warfare technology as well as in the cuisine, in the dresses, and also in the field of the cultural ethos, like the parda system, the veil, like the wearing of the tunics, etc., the wearing of the long boots, etc. All these were there in the invasion's impact. Now, if we try to see this particular coin, can anybody tell me that what is written here in this particular coin? Anyone? And what is this? Right, what is this image all about? Guys, this is the image of goddess Lakshmi. Goddess Lakshmi, who is shown in a sitting position of Padmasan, and these are the feet, this is the womb, and these are the breast, and this is the face with the eyes, and around her you can see the decorations of the half moon. Okay, everyone. And on the other side of the same coin, what is written here? It is written here Shrimad Muhammad Sam. Shrimad Muhammad Sam. Okay, Shrimad Muhammad Sam. So, isn't it disbelieving? It isn't disdainful to believe that Muhammad Ghori had the coins minted in his name, on the side of which, on the worst side of which, we had the images of goddess Lakshmi. So that does not make Muhammad Ghori a tolerant ruler in India. That simply tells that in the medieval period, even though religion was important, but the wealth was more important, authority was more important. So he had no facility of the minting coins in India. Therefore, he was using the Gahadwala mints, who had the mint symbols of goddess Lakshmi and Devanagari script. Ghori was all comfortable to allow the Gahadwala subordinates to mint the coins in his name in Devanagari script with the image of Lakshmi without any problem. Yes, it is true that once we will see tomorrow that once Sultanate was established properly, they brought their own coins. But this remained in circulation for several years. All right. So I hope that you would have got some idea related to the religious significance of these invasions, that religion mattered only when you had to gather the people. You had to encourage the people for the further attacks. Okay, everyone? Now, all right. So, sir, we have a lot of sources and we know how to make all things. Then why Western call as modern after Aurangzeb? Amit, because modern is not only the materialistic addressal. Modern is basically the addressal in the matters of thought process, ideology, basically the humanitarian approach is there. All those features make any particular period as a modern period. Okay? Now, so guys, let us talk something about the P2I batches which are going to start from tomorrow onwards, because this special offer that's going on is actually valid only till 30th September. So in this particular offer, you are going to get the P2I batches course in the least possible price of rupees 26,999 using my code ASR live, and you are going to get a lot of things. For example, syllabus coverage is a standard thing that's not even required to be said. It's obviously done. What is extra here? In extra, you are getting the dedicated mentor, one-to-one mentor. You are also getting the support of the student team. Basically, you have those mentors, and you have the proper answer checking team, etc., the proper content team, etc. So not only that, you also have got dedicated books published by the studyIQ only, especially for the UPSC aspirant, so that you don't have to hound here and there for the extra sources. It is like a one-stop solution. Apart from that, if you are attending the classes, we provide you like one class at a time with 3 hours of duration, where the handwritten notes are provided from our side. You don't have to make the handwritten notes. We provide it from our side, because it's exactly in the same way as the student asks for. Okay. Apart from that, you also get a daily dose of the current affairs program. CAP program is there. And when the preliminary examination approaches, we have success in prelims SIP program exclusively for the pre-oriented preparation. And after the success in the prelims examination, suppose if you are able to crack the prelims, then you get the exclusive access to our mains residential program, in which you will be given a call and a stay, as well as the food, as well as the preparation help, classes, curriculum, everything. That will be given to you absolutely free of cost. You will be called here in the Delhi studyIQ campus. You will be allowed to stay here, right, without any additional cost. So it is like having an offline preparation for the mains without even a single extra penny. So that's a very wonderful opportunity for any serious candidate. And I must say that you should be considering this opportunity very well. Okay. So guys, use this code ASR Live to take advantage of this opportunity and avail these all features in the minimum cost possible. And for the content related thing, you can join my Telegram channel. This is @UPSC with ASR. As I told you, my name is Abhishek Singh Rathod. So this is ASR. So UPSC with ASR is my Telegram channel, where you can find the content. I upload the content on the weekly basis. So you have a lot of time to watch the lectures again and again, so that you can get the content and then you can understand it properly. Got it, everyone? So thank you so much for watching it. Take care, and tomorrow we will start Delhi Sultanate lecture number 1. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye and Jai Hind.